Okay, so today we're going to talk about one of the all-time greatest underdog stories in tech history. Seriously, it's about an invention that completely changed how we see the world and the insane high-stakes fight for who would control it. We're talking about the battle for television.
It's a pretty simple question, right? But the answer is, well, it's wild. Picture this. On one side, you've got a farm boy from the middle of nowhere with a crazy idea, and on the other, one of the biggest, most powerful corporations on Earth. And believe it or not, they were both chasing the exact same dream.
And yeah, this is where it all kicks off. Because this wasn't just some friendly competition. Oh no, this was a full-on David versus Goliath showdown for the future of, well, everything. It's the perfect case study, really, on what it takes to challenge an industry titan.
So let's meet our David. His name was Philo T. Farnsworth. He was born way back in 1906 in Utah, grew up on a farm, and this kid was obsessed, absolutely fascinated by this new thing called electricity. He was always tinkering, taking machines apart, putting them back together, just trying to figure out how it all worked.
And then he has this total aha moment. He's out plowing a field one day, and he looks back at the rows in the dirt. These perfect straight lines. And it just clicks. He thinks, what if you could scan an image like that, line by line by line? That was it. The entire idea for electronic television just popped into his head from looking at dirt. Incredible.
And get this, the kid was only 14. 14! I mean, at that age, most of us are just trying to survive high school, right? But not Philo. He's drawing up these detailed diagrams and explaining to his chemistry teacher how a fully electronic TV could work. We're talking about a concept that had the world's best scientists totally stumped.
Okay, so having an idea is one thing, but turning that high school science project into a real-life invention, that's the hard part. See, Farnsworth's idea was completely radical. Everybody, and I mean everybody, thought you needed these big, clunky, spinning mechanical discs to capture an image. But he was like, nope, the future is all electronic. No moving parts. It was a huge bet against everything the experts believed.
And this is what he came up with, the image dissector. This was his baby. Unlike all those clumsy mechanical gadgets, this was proof you could capture a picture using just a beam of electrons. It was the core of his whole invention. It literally turned light into electricity, just like he dreamed up back on the farm.
So the big moment comes, and the very first image ever sent was a single straight line. I know, it doesn't sound like much, does it? But that simple line was everything. It was the world's first proof that this crazy idea of all electronic television actually worked. Right there, in that little lab in San Francisco, the world changed.
But, quiet moments like that don't last. Word gets around fast, especially when something this big happens. And that word reached the ears of the Goliath in our story, a company called RCA, the Radio Corporation of America. And it was run by this powerhouse executive, a guy named David Sarnoff. And I mean, talk about a mismatch. It's almost comical. You've got Farnsworth, this young inventor with a shoestring budget and a tiny team, working off an idea he had as a teenager. Then you have RCA, a corporate behemoth with basically unlimited money, all the top engineers, and a single goal: to own the future of television, no matter what. So, instead of trying to out-innovate him, RCA went down a different road. They decided to bury him in lawsuits. They unleashed a full-blown legal war. They had their own brilliant engineer, a guy named Vladimir Zworykin, and they started filing their own patents, basically trying to argue that Farnsworth's idea wasn't new. The goal was simple: wipe him off the map and take his invention for themselves. And this wasn't some quick legal scuffle. Oh no, this was a long, brutal fight that just dragged on and on for years. Think about that. For a decade, Farnsworth had to pour his time, his money, his energy, not into inventing, but into just defending his idea from this corporate giant. So what finally turned the tide? What was the piece of evidence that blew the whole case open? It was his high school chemistry teacher. You can't make this stuff up. The teacher had saved Farnsworth's original drawings from when he was 14. He brought them into court, and just like that, proved Farnsworth had the idea years before anyone at RCA even thought of it. And he won. The little guy actually won. The U.S. Patent Office officially named Philo Farnsworth the inventor of television. It was just a massive, stunning victory. It showed everyone that sometimes, just sometimes, a great idea and a whole lot of grit can actually beat a corporate juggernaut.
But here's the thing, winning a war like that, it comes at a cost. You don't just walk away clean. That decade-long fight, it just destroyed him. It drained his bank account, and worse, it broke his spirit. So yeah, he won, but the battle left some serious scars.
And this is the really tragic part of the whole story. As television just exploded and became this multi-billion-dollar industry, Farnsworth barely saw a dime. His most important patents expired right before TV really took off. So he got the title inventor of television, but RCA, the giant he beat, they're the ones who got rich.
But you know what? The guy's spirit never quit. Even with all the financial problems and the emotional weight of it all, his mind just never stopped working. He went on to get over 300 patents in his life. He worked on everything from baby incubators to, get this, nuclear fusion. He was just an inventor, through and through.
So what about his legacy? Well, it's literally everywhere you look. Every single time you stream a show, or watch a video, or even just glance at your phone, you're looking at Philo Farnsworth's dream. That basic idea he had in a field, scanning an image line by line, is the foundation of pretty much every screen we use today.
When you really boil it down, Farnsworth's story is kind of a roadmap, isn't it? It shows us that game-changing ideas can pop up in the most unexpected places. It proves that if you're persistent enough, you can take on almost anything. And it reminds us that one person's imagination really can change the course of history.
And that really brings us back to today, doesn't it? Because this isn't just a story about the past. It's a pattern that we see over and over again. It really makes you think, who are the Philo Farnsworths of today? You know, the lone inventors, the tiny startups. What giants are they fighting? And what world-changing invention are they fighting for right now?